What's up, gymmers? All right, you guys. Well, I wanted to give you a quick intro into strength training before we actually got into playing with our toys, okay? Now, the thing is about strength training is it's way more complex than just taking a weight and moving it from point A to point B or point A to point B or point A to point B or whatever the heck it might be, all right? Strength training is also more than just pushing weights to push weights for the purpose of pushing weights, okay? So there's multiple ways that I use strength training and resistance training with my MSers, all right? So let me grab something. So I always use bands with my MSers. I have for years. Like, I've been training with these forever, all right? Back when I was like 22 years old, which was like 18 years ago now, right? I was using band training with MSers and neuro clients all over the place. I had regular flat strips like this. I had the tubing. I had handles. I had bands around their legs, all that kind of stuff, because strength training is super duper important for the MS body, because we've got to teach the MS brain how to create force and override the force that is being caused, the degradative force that is being caused by MS. Okay, so there's three reasons that there's three types of strength training that I actually tell MSers that we use. Number one is what's called proprioceptive strength training, where a lot of times if I have you try to lift an arm and I'm like, focus on your shoulder blade, you may not even know where that is, right? So if I'm like, okay, focus on blade down and lift it, and you don't even know what muscles you're doing or where those muscles are, a lot of times I'll actually throw in a band, a light band, and I'll have you actually have a resistance put on you. Because the minute there's a resistance put on your arm like this, an external resistance, it sends a signal to your brain saying, oh, wait, we got to move something, okay? And after we've gone through what it means to actually pull the shoulder blades back and down and get that arm into the proper alignment, that's when we actually start to use a band to increase the proprioceptive feedback from the shoulder blade to the brain to actually tell the shoulder how to work right again, okay? But that is very, very light resistance, and what we work on a lot is very slow speed of coming up nice and chill, pausing, and then coming back down nice and chill, okay? So anywhere from 3 seconds to 6 seconds up, a 2 to 4 second hold, and 3 seconds to 6 seconds down. That improves proprioceptive feedback so that you can then go in, and if I ask you to lift your arm, you know what to do, and you can consciously activate that muscle because you've created a neurologic drive or a new accessible neurologic pattern that feeds into that scapula and actually helps you raise your arm or push your chest forward or drive your hips forward or whatever it may be. So sometimes we add resistance as a regression in order for you to be able to learn how to actually move your limbs independent of that resistance. And then the third reason that we use strength training is to actually improve muscle strength by overloading the muscle with an external resistance. So we're actually moving weight to get stronger. So we have proprioceptive, we have functional, and then we have strength. All right, those are the three types of strength training, okay? Now, strength training can be done on the floor, in a chair, standing up, wherever it might be. I about just went on green eggs and ham. I'm like in a box with a fox, eating lox, whatever it might be. Strength training can happen anywhere, and you can do it on any different medium. And when you go from the floor to chair to standing and all that kind of stuff, it changes the neurologic event in your brain, so you get different feedback. Now, if you are an MSer who sits in their chair a lot, we've got to get you stronger in a seated position in your wheelie walker or wheelchair so that you can function in life better. We want to train for the specific adaptations that we're looking for, okay? It doesn't do us a lot of good to lay you on your back and do a bench press if you're in a chair, if you are up and moving in your chair and your goal is to get stronger in a chair and your goal is actually to stand up. There's no point in me putting you on a leg press machine in a chair with your legs up like this or pushing straight ahead when you're wanting to press yourself vertically upwards. So we need to train for the specific goal that we have. Okay, if you're on the floor and we're wanting to work on doing what's called shoulder compression, where our hands are down on the floor like this, and we're working on being able to hold our body weight up so that if we fall to the ground, we can actually move around and do things, or we can get on the floor and do housework or play with our kids or our dogs or whatever. That's a different type of strength training. And then we got standing up, okay? When we stand up and we strength train, okay, that is a way different scenario than being on our back or sitting on a machine or whatever. And MS goals, a lot of MSers, their goals are to stand better, balance better, and walk better. So I am a gigantic advocate of doing things in a wheelie walker, on the floor, or up on your feet with band resistance, and that's it. If you look around my studio, I have an open floor with bands, dumbbells, kettlebells, suspension trainers, and then bodies. That's all I work on. Okay, because there's no point in getting yourself strong while you're sitting in a machine if your goal is to stand up, because then your brain only knows how to be strong when you're sitting down, and you stand up and go to try to push something and it's like, I don't know how to do this. So the best thing to do is train for the specific adaptation that you're trying to get. If you want to walk better, train yourself to be stronger on your feet. If you want to sit better, train yourself to get stronger when you're seated. If you want to go from sitting to standing, then you need to do both. You need to train both in a chair and standing up so your brain gets used to and feels safe in both of those positions. Now, before we get into any single strength training, we must remember 3 letters. You got B, G, B, okay? If you do not get your blades down, your gut in, and your butt underneath you, whether you're sitting or standing, you are going to reinforce bad patterns, okay? If your spine is compressed down like this, if your head is forward like this, if your shoulders are tipped forward this way, if your back is arched, you are going to reinforce bad patterns. So it is imperative that before every single rep and during every single set of strength training that you get BGB locked in. You get your hips underneath you, you get your guts pulled in, you get your blades get down, you get your apple chin, you push up to the ceiling through your head and get a long spine so that you train yourself to increase your postural strength along with your limb strength or your deep core strength. Postural strength is just as important as just isolated strength training. Okay, so when you do these movements and when you do strength training in the MS gym, I am going to constantly be telling you shoulder blades back and down, sit tall, abs in, pelvic floor up, get those hips underneath you as you press your weight, because you don't want to waste your time just pushing one muscle group at a time, doing a bicep curl or doing a chest press. If you're going to do a bicep curl, that's cool, but get BGB locked in so that your bicep actually works and your brain figures out how to use the bicep, but also train the shoulder blade, also train the core, also tie it in with the opposite side glute. So you've got to train specifically for the adaptations that you are trying to create in your body. So as you go throughout this strength training, I need you to really focus on where you are, what you're doing, and do you feel it? Because that is what's going to build strength in your body, and that is what is going to get you strong as an MSer. That's what's going to help you access new neuromuscular pathways. That's going to help design a brand new way for your brain to find strength and balance and endurance and flexibility and all that stuff so that you can live the best life possible. So if you like this video and you got a lot out of it and you're like, yo man, yo Coach T, I'm ready to rock and roll, and you want to go deeper, you want to get your own MS specific movement prescription, and you want a day by day, step by step, press play, follow me program that's going to help you build the strength that you need to counteract your MS symptoms, then all you need to do is go down below, click the link there to go directly to the membership details and find out everything that you need to do to get your complete movement prescription based program, or you can simply visit our website at themsgym.com. You guys are rocking it. I'm glad you were here. Let's go get strong.